I've got a really harsh light coming through my curtains. Hold on a second.
You do.
That's better.
Is it?
I need blackout curtains in this office because the sun comes right through this window and it just
In your face, puts it all over your chin.
all over my face.
Mega Dads Live is a mature-rated podcast. It's for the Mega Dads, the Mega Moms, but not the Mega Kids. So put on those earmuffs and let's go!
Speaking of awesome shirts and awesome jackets and stuff, I took my kid to karate like I do every other fucking day, it seems like. And
like a good father, like a good father supporting his mission to be a badass. Keep going.
So I'm sitting in the waiting room looking at porn on my phone, and this kid in front of me, he looks at me and he's like, "I've got that game," and I'm like, "What is he?" And I realized I was wearing my Breath of the Wild t-shirt because like so much of my clothes is just like, stuff like this. It's got logo on it or whatever. So I grabbed this Breath of the Wild t-shirt. It's just the logo, but it's on a nice like slate blue print, and it's like really cool shirt. But I threw it on just because I like the color. And he's like, "I got that game." I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good game. He's like, "Yeah, I beat Ganon. And I finished the game. It's on my Switch." I'm like, "That's really cool. I love that game." And I realized like I was having this like bonding moment with like a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
In a waiting room full of parents who I don't speak to at all. Like I don't like I know none of these parents by name. I don't identify with any of the adults in the room. But I'm having this real moment with this 6-year-old over Zelda.
Yeah.
And it was fine. We just talked for a few minutes and his mom got him ready and they left. And I realized like, oh my God, I'm such a loser.
I totally agree with you because I meet the average adult and I cannot do it. Like I'm like, you are so boring. You have
so boring.
What are your like hobbies? Do you ever meet someone and you could be talking to them and trying to have a conversation for quite a while and you cannot get it out of them what they do for fun? Like there's no hobbies, no likes, no like what have you seen lately? None of that. And I'm just like, what am I doing here? Like I rather feel more comfortable. Like I just feel like any gamer I could have some baseline to talk about.
Yeah, it's so wild.
I can't get along with adults. I'm like, you're boring.
They are. It's so wild how many people our age where like fun and just like enjoying life is so far out of their cone of vision, right? It's like, what do you do for work? And like, what projects do you have this summer coming? And I'm like, what fucking planet do you live on where you're not at work, you're not in a forced situation? This is your moment to be yourself, and all you're focused on is what do I got to get done? I'm like, screw that, man. Enjoy your life.
Yeah, it hurts.
It's
like,
weird.
It made my stomach like sour right now when you said, "So what do you do?" Like, "Oh, you do that same thing." It's like, come on, like let's get out there, people. Let's talk about something more interesting.
Kids get it, and that kid got it. He like clicked. He's like, "This is something that you and I both love. Let's discuss that." If I were to speak to any one of the adults, any of the other parents in that waiting room, they'd probably be telling me about like their latest scans that they got at the doctor or something, like just super boring shit. I don't want to live that way. I want to be like that 6-year-old. How are you?
I am pretty fantastic. We'll talk about it in the next couple episodes of Mega Dads Live, but my meds got right. Like my therapist has done wonders. So like the seasonal depression is going, like it's sunny outside. I'm doing more and getting into more hobbies.
You got some projects coming up this summer?
I'm talking about work here, so don't get me off track. I'm talking about the projects at work that I'm really focused on. Seriously, I feel so much better now. And like my wife came up to me, she's like, it's so good seeing you happy again. And you know what that means? Like when your wife tells you that, it's like you've been a dick for like the last couple months. But I'm feeling really, really awesome. My daughter was playing with some blocks and made a bird out of these magnetic tile blocks. And she's 4. And like, it looks fantastic. She's doing art that we hung on the wall, like without any, like genuinely, it's good. And we framed it
not
and
a
we
pity
put it
hang.
right up. No, it is like, this is good stuff. And I'm just amazed by her. She's growing. Her mind is like developing. Like my wife is like trying to talk to her about everything she's asking about. So she's asked about like, what's a period? Like, cause she heard about like us talking about it. Like one of our dogs has it. And like if you don't get them spayed, that dogs have a period. So like we have a dog that hasn't been spayed that has a period, and she had to talk to her about what it is.
Your dogs are white too. That's got to be a
well,
process.
it's really not bad. They're small dogs, and it's like let me describe the dog's vagina to you. Look, so the vagina of this dog is about this size, and not too
Tiny
much.
Little puppy veg.
Yeah. So my wife's like, it's how your body gets clean or whatever, which I think is offensive actually, to like the feminist movement. I don't think it's supposed to be like you're dirty.
I think it might actually be illegal for the two of us to be talking about this without a woman present.
so that's basically what. I don't know how did I get into this?
I'm not sure what's happening.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, let's move it on.
Yep.
Jesus.
So let's talk about
Mega Dad's being super positive.
the two of us are clearly outside of our wheelhouse, our area of expertise. Let's talk about some of the things that have been bringing us joy. And I'm going to go first because this is something that just happened. I want to get it out there. It's fresh. But we have a ducky family in our backyard. We live on a cul-de-sac that has a retaining pond. So all the drainage from the rain and the storm and stuff, it pools up this pond in our backyard, and then in the summertime it dries out and it's like a field or whatever. But right now it's a full pond. And when we get a full pond, which we don't get often, but we've had a lot of rain here lately, we get visitors in the form of duckies. Duckies, yep. Duckies. And right now, the baby duckies, they're here. And they waddle up every spring and early summer. They waddle up from the pond to our backyard, to our bird feeders, and right up to the back of our house so we can stand out on the deck. Or my son's bedroom is on the lower level of our split level, so like he can look right out to them. They're right there. I'm gonna drop some video in the episode so you can see the wonderful duck family. And there's something so nice about seeing cute animals that you don't have to take care of, right? Like when a kid sees a puppy, they want a puppy, right? But when you see ducks, you can't keep ducks. So these are cute animals that get to come into our yard. You get to see the baby ducks eat, and then they just fly the fuck away. And you get to wash your hands of it, and the kids don't ask for anything. And it's just a wonderful moment watching the kids, they throw bread out at the ducks and all that stuff. Cute. They feed the ducks. And it's another signal that we have gorgeous weather here, like you were talking about before. The sun is out, and we've had a lot of rain. So it's just pleasant. It's just pleasant. And to spend the weekend watching the baby ducks in your backyard is... How
many little ones are there? Like 4 or 5?
Like a dozen of them.
A dozen of them?
Yeah.
Are they like the yellow, like baby, like ducklings from like...
Well, that's the fun part is you get to watch them because we don't get them every year. But this year, this year the ducks have come back, and when you get the baby ducks, you get to watch them from the little yellow ducks to when they start to feather out, and they stick around. Like they make this their zone.
That's awesome.
So we'll get to see them throughout the whole spring and summer, and you get to see them grow up and stuff.
We should say waddle more. Like humans walk, and that's so boring. But waddle is like super interesting.
Great. It's a great
now,
word.
like there's nothing more like wholesome than just like baby animals. Like I'm not above it when I go on my social media and I see a baby whatever, like baby cow, new puppies and kittens. I'm not above it. I don't skip that. Do you skip the babies, the baby
Snuggle
animals?
babies? Yeah, there's
Yeah,
even
you watch 'em.
there's like an event that they have of spring farm babies. We took the kids to a few weeks ago, and there's like baby goats and baby pigs and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
you gotta love the widow baby animals.
The widow ones.
The widow baby
ones.
animals.
The widow.
What's bringing you joy?
So when I was in grade school, I went to a local mall during Christmas, and I put a bag down next to me, and I got robbed. So someone had snatched this bag that had all the gifts that I had bought for my, little grade school friends. Right.
Okay.
So it wasn't like at knife point. It was just they caught me snoozing for a second. I put the bag down at my side, and I got robbed. So I went back to this mall for the first time in a long time. I'm talking a couple decades, right?
Wow.
And I went there because I was going to look for some Disney Lorcana like trading cards that had just released, and this was like the only place that had some. So I walk inside this mall, and it is empty. And when I say empty, I mean like, so you walk in, the food court has like, like at least 15-ish slots, right?
Yeah.
Where here's where the Sbarro's supposed to be, here's where the Panda Express is supposed to be. I think they had one or two things in there, and everything else is just boarded up, like completely empty. There's an ad for like saying this store is this way, like don't look here. And there are like 4 people in this food court just chilling, and it is that empty. When you walk down these mega halls, I would say 20% of the mall like stores were full. Everything else is empty. I walk past a grand piano store. Adam, can you guess what they sell in the grand piano store?
I'm hoping grand pianos.
They sell grand pianos. So I look, and there's like 40 full-size grand pianos in this storefront. It was a large storefront, and they were just there. I didn't see any workers in there. I saw nothing. It was the weirdest thing. And then I keep walking, and down this one arm of the mall, like, because we're looking for where we're supposed to go, I see someone just like on a bench, like just
masturbating in the.
So, and I realize it's the security guard. I start walking up to him. He's smoking a cigarette inside because nobody is there. No one. It's like he's the one supposed to tell people to stop smoking, but nobody's around to talk to.
You don't give no fucks.
I'm walking up to him. He looks so confused. He's like, what the fuck? Someone's coming up to me. He's like, like just taking a drag. I'm like, do you know where this store is? He's like, yeah, just keep walking right. And that's it. And then I didn't even walk all the way fully up to him. It was like, hey, do you know? No. And it was like empty. And then we finally found the store. So I'm happy that such a place where you could get robbed. Like there was a cesspool back then. It probably needed to be emptied out. Too much crime. Yeah.
Are you sure that wasn't a ghost? Because it could have been. I mean, with a mall like that as decrepit and run down, that could have been the ghost of the security guard back in the 80s when smoking in the mall was okay.
You're right. Oh my God, I got spooked. The ghost of malls past. So that's my super positive is brick and mortar's alive and well.
Couple other things. How the fuck is it that the Grand Piano Store is one of the stores that survived the mall?
Don't ask me. I mean, I guess you make one sale and you're set for like the half year or whatever. You know, volume is not everything. I guess it's just, the goods and the markup. But it was pretty wild.
I am fairly convinced you were actually in Silent Hill. Because I don't think there are Grand Piano Stores anymore. And that security guard was definitely a ghost.
It was fun. It was fun. It was a fun trip to the mall.
let's talk about the headlines and all the wonderful things happening in the world of Xbox. Antonio, take it away.
It's been a while. You wanted to get it out of me. You're like, what does this Xbox fan think of all these things?
I've been dying to hear what you have to say about the bizarre turns happening at Xbox.
So, Arcane and a number of other studios, Arcane Austin, are being shut down. We are talking about people responsible for beloved games such as Hi-Fi Rush, Dishonored. They are not done with cost cutting. ZeniMax staff got buyout offers. There's rumors that the Xbox core game studios are set for cutbacks next. So we have gotten studio closures. We've gotten successful games that have not done anything wrong, whose developers are being let go. And there's some pieces are moving around, but long story short is the industry is not growing, according to Sarah Bond, and dev costs are rising, and they need to bring in new players, but they need to shut down studios for the long-term health of the business. So that's like the official line. Mm-hmm. This is Tango being closed. Makers of Hi-Fi Rush is probably the big blow. We just talked about it on the last episode.
We hadn't even released that episode yet. Like, I just got done talking to you about how much I love that game and how that's like the one Xbox game that I really wanted. My God, this game is so great. We hadn't even published the episode yet, and they closed the studio. I'm like, whoa, this episode is going to be timely and aged very poorly. So sad. Like, what the fuck, man?
The latest developments now are that out of Xbox world is that there is a tease that a new Doom is coming. So now they're getting into, okay, so we got the bad news out of the way, but we do have our showcase coming up, and we need to make a good impression. So we have teasing of a new Doom that's coming. It is pretty much the unspoken rumor that's true is that the Wall Street Journal reported that Microsoft has decided to bring Call of Duty to Game Pass day one. Mm-hmm. So that is pretty interesting. And then Xbox internal name for bringing their games to other platforms with no red line is called Project Latitude. That's according to Jez Corden. So basically, Xbox exclusivity is going the way of the dinosaur if you believe all of the rumors. We have a brand new day for Xbox. I think that someone put it in our Discord very well, that the core of what you believe and I believe Xbox and PlayStation, Nintendo are, it's like you make a console. You get, if you're into publishing, you get it publish and develop games internally. We thought this is where Xbox was going, but things are just not going well. And the rumor is that top brass is not happy. Shareholders are not happy. You've invested. Where's the payoff?
Yeah.
Gamers were waiting for it. They're waiting for it. And now you would think that you have to have a machine. You have to have a console. But anything is on the table. Maybe they do get out of hardware. We were promised one hardware refresh or one new piece of hardware soon. But at this point, people are thinking anything's possible. Games going to PlayStation that are like maybe a Gears or a Forza, or the tentpole games could be going to other platforms is the rumor. How do I feel about this, Adam?
How you want me to tell you how you feel about it?
Yeah, because I can't express in words how I feel. Like, I love Xbox.
You feel dejected, right?
You know what I realized in all this? I believe that PlayStation got the leg up on this last gen because of loyalty
the previous
to the
one?
brand. Yeah. So, do you know how there was a lot of parity in the power of the consoles. It really wasn't, a thing. But PlayStation jumped ahead in sales, right? In PlayStation 4.
Yep.
We learn now that a lot of PlayStation 4 players haven't moved over to PS5. Not surprising with the lack of hardware that was available and has been available.
Still, yeah.
And also PlayStation 4 and 5, once they kind of went back on, you can only play this on PS5. Like it was a thing. So what I thought always to myself was that the PS4 sales were off the charts, very good, because of brand loyalty, because of what had come before. Not necessarily what they were delivering, but people were in that ecosystem and they were like, I like my PlayStation, might as well stick with it. It was going to be hard to win back, switch people for one reason or another during that fight, how there always is, of which one are you going to get? Which one are you going to get? I think that the loyalty to the brand played a huge part in it, into being in the ecosystem. And I realized that I always kind of like was upset. I was like, come on, PlayStation people, like look at what Xbox is offering. Give them a chance to earn your business, to earn you into their ecosystem. But it was too hard. The loyalty was too strong. And I realize now I am also loyal to Xbox. Why else would I have stayed with them through kind of what I feel is like the thick and thin of the last couple of years, with so many games cooking? We have all these studios, but where are the games? Like Xbox has no games, to me, is still like a mean thing to say, but it's still what's happening. It really is, I think. Halo being mismanaged, from the game of Halo Infinite to the show, it was just like, how could you? I never in a million years thought this would happen. So I think I've told you over the last year or so that PlayStation has a chance with me. If they want to earn me and my business for maybe going into the next gen, I'm open to it. I really am. And I keep waiting for these showcases, and I'm like, show me something that I can't walk away from. I thought it was going to be the Bethesda, Activision, like all these acquisitions that are huge. They have great IPs, but honestly, I mean, I played Diablo 4. It was okay. I've played these games. I appreciate they're on Game Pass, but let's just say things are so gloom and doom right now with Xbox that I'm still open to going to PlayStation. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I have so many thoughts. First and foremost, to kind of speak on what you just said, is the thing. If we kind of go back a couple of generations, let's go to PS3, Xbox 360. That to me is slam dunk. Xbox 360 was the better option. It
PS3 had problems.
Just fantastic game lineup, lots of great exclusives. PlayStation 3 had some good stuff like Uncharted and Last
Metal
of Us.
Gear.
But like I spent way more time on my Xbox. Absolutely. Go to PS4 and then Xbox one generation. And I had both, and I barely touched my Xbox because the PS4 generation, I've said it before, I'll say it again, it's my favorite console of all time. Just the amount of absolute masterpieces, from fucking God of War to Last of Us Part 2 to Ghost of Tsushima, just the PSVR, I know not everybody likes it, but man, there was some incredible PSVR experiences. I loved that generation. And it was that generation cemented that I only need one. So I went PS5. And I think when you talk about your dissatisfaction with the current state of where you play and how you're looking at the other side and you're like, well, maybe they could get. To me, it comes back to what my argument has been all along. It's the games. Xbox has been having this incredible messaging about the services they provide and the way they're taking the industry, like the direction they are moving, how you think about games. But ultimately, we all just want to play a great game. And to me, that's what's kept me in the PlayStation camp. I could play a lot more for way less on the Xbox, but I am willing to pay more and play fewer masterpiece experiences that I can't live without in the PlayStation. And I wonder if that to me, that's what I hear you saying is you want those. You've played lots of great games on Game Pass and you've saved a lot of money and you've had a much broader experience. You've been able to sample so much more. But to me, I hear you saying I'm missing that game of the year caliber Spider-Man or whatever it is dropping in your lap once a year. So that's one thought. The other thing that I think of is it seems to me that these massive acquisitions have been at the expense of more unique experiences. Like it seems to me that they're cutting out the not surefire things for their big franchises that they now own, like so like are they going to end up in the same place that PlayStation is in anyway, where they're delivering less but more surefire bangers like Call of Duty and Fallout? So like is there going to be any parity there, or are they're just going to have their stable of fewer bigger hits? And then lastly,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then lastly, it makes me wonder, is the Game Pass experiment a failure? If that was the thing that was supposed to save them, that was supposed to be their exclusive, but they're still having to close studios and let people go en masse and repivot the way they are thinking of gaming moving forward. Was that the be all end all thing that they wanted it to be, or is that experiment shown to be a failure?
I wish I would have saved it. One of the former Xbox executives weighed in. I forget what his name was off the top of my head, but he came in and he was like, look, he identified the strategy. He's like, if your strategy is Game Pass, play anywhere, you have to stick with it and keep going all in. It can work if you go all in, which is what I understand it to be. The value proposition of Game Pass has to be so good, it's undeniable. And you must select us. And you must have a subscription, or it'd be like, and this was where the Call of Duty coming in matters, because so many people play Call of Duty, and you got to tell them this year it's going to be $80 or your Game Pass subscription. They're like, well, why would I subscribe? And they're like, bam, here's this library. And by the way, we just announced this summer that it's going to be, the new Doom's going to be on there. The new, all these games that you've been waiting for that are coming out are going to be on there.
But haven't they been doing that anyway?
They have. But again, there's this big pot of Xbox Game Studios that have been working on things for about 2-3 years. We started to blame the pandemic because of what had happened, but then there's been mismanagement somewhere, somehow.
Right. The
games come out lukewarm, or they're still cooking. So this needs to stop. I have what you say about the value. I may not be able to afford gaming as a PlayStation fan, so that's just the truth. I don't have that much disposable income, so this Game Pass thing keeps me playing games. The ability to stream with very, very little lag to my Steam Deck and phone and any screen that I want. Soon, the rumor is that any game you have on Xbox that you've been purchased can play streamed via their servers to whatever screen you want. So not just Game Pass games, but if I just buy like whatever, it'll be on there as long as the publisher says it's okay. So like, I don't think EA or Ubisoft are going to be down, but other people will, and they'll be like, okay, we're not on Game Pass, but you can, if you bought it, you can stream it. And that is really good for a parent like me who needs to play for an hour before bed and is okay with that experience. The streaming has gotten better and better and better, and the value is there for me. It would be very difficult for me to step away at this point, but it's not the be all end all, is it? Because what if these games come out lukewarm? It's bothered me. Here's what I think too. I think a lot has been put on a game and games like Hellblade 2. It's going to come out, it's going to get 9s, and it's not going to sell itself, on its own. It's not going to bring in Game Pass subscribers. It's a niche title, and it's just going to be, the the news out of it, the conversation out of it is it was a flash in the pan, and that was it. It didn't move any mountains like they were hoping. And I just think that's what's going to happen. And,
Right.
there's nothing wrong with that. People would have experienced a great game, but the industry is so sensitive right now that just like with Tango and their Hi-Fi Rush, making a great game just isn't enough anymore. And that's scary. Then
Yeah,
what
the
is?
measurements are all messed up, right? Like
Yeah.
there's what does success mean? I mean, you look at Hi-Fi Rush, and it was a game that was critically acclaimed. It shadow dropped. Everybody was talking about it. Won awards, and like that wasn't enough. The fact that it was an amazing game that everybody loved wasn't enough. So, like, what is your measurement of success? They're clearly not looking at sales because they're looking at it through the lens of Game Pass. So, like, how do you? I don't know. Like, I don't know what does it take?
I've been wanting to do this with you for a while. I just want a one word from you. Interested or not. Okay?
Okay.
Or nut or no nut if you prefer.
Yeah, let's do it. Nut or no nut.
These are upcoming Xbox exclusives. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2.
No nut.
Dungeons of Hindenburg.
Never heard of it. No nut.
Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl.
No nut.
Avowed.
Nut.
Era History Untold.
Don't know what it is. No nut.
That's like that 4X
Oh yeah,
strategy game
definitely
in the
no nut.
vein. Dead Static Drive.
Don't know what it is. No nut.
Towerborn.
Don't know what it is. No nut.
33 Immortals.
I've heard of it. I have not
I've
seen
heard
it.
of it, yeah.
I'm edging.
Replaced.
Is that the pixely?
It's that really cool like pixel art thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nut.
Yeah. Sopa.
Don't know what it is. No nut.
Arc 2.
No nut.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Kind of a light nut.
They could pull it off.
Yeah.
Age of Mythology Retold.
No nut.
Perfect Dark.
Hard to say. I could nut.
Project Mara. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is. No nut.
The Outer Worlds 2.
No nut.
Fable.
Possible nut.
Okay, so let me restart by saying these are unknowns. These are
Right.
things that have been cooking forever. Perfect Dark, Project Mara, which is Ninja Theory. So that's something that
Okay.
they've been working on.
Oh, that's that weird sciencey thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So The Outer Worlds 2. No, not. Okay. Fable,
Possible.
Everwild,
Definite nut.
State of Decay 3,
No nut.
Contraband.
Uh,
I think it's a shooter. I don't know.
we've only gotten a cinematic trailer, I think. So no nut.
South of Midnight,
Don't know what it is. No nut.
Clockwork Revolution,
Don't know what it is. No nut.
Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024
Yeah,
edition.
nut on that.
OD.
Nut.
That's like a strong nut right there.
That's a strong nut.
Project Maverick,
Don't know what it is. No nut.
Elder Scrolls,
Nut.
the new one.
Yeah.
Harmonium the musical,
No nut.
Citizen Sleeper 2, Starward Vector,
No
and
nut.
Routine.
No nut. I don't know what half of those are.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, isn't it? Right? So I can't say I disagree with you more. I mean, Stalker 2 is on my radar. Aura is definitely looking good to me. It's my type of game. All these things with project names are, come on, man. Like if you look at Project Mara, it says was originally announced in 2020, and then we haven't seen anything about it. Project Maverick is from People Can Fly. We know absolutely nothing about it. Like things are State of Decay 3. It's been a long time since State of Decay 2, and that's a really good game. I'm looking forward to it. It's just like, this is sad. Like imagine you're on the other side and you're just like in the business meeting and you're like, what the fuck are you all doing? And that's what I got to say.
What the fuck are you all doing? It's wild.
I'm sure they're working hard. Somebody's working hard, passionately. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, from the business side, they're like, fucking deliver. Like, do you know how much the Game Pass shit costs? Do you have any idea how much these servers cost? Do you have any idea, like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
I think
These acquisitions cost.
Yeah, I think as a person who has left the ecosystem and have been watching it with fascination from the outside at all the ups and downs and choices that they've been making, I don't think anything embodies my bewilderment with what's going on over there more than Indiana Jones. In the sense that this is a property that I love, that I was super excited to see what they do with it. I'm like, oh my god, they've got this property. They're gonna fucking come out of the gate smashing with this PlayStation AAA rival game, and then it comes out and it's a fucking first-person shooter game, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like you said, what the fuck? I think that kind of embodies where I'm looking at it. I'm like, I want you guys to really pull through, but like, I just don't get it.
We
It's
really
just not for me.
needed an Uncharted Tomb Raider, and we're gonna end up getting. I don't think that.
Right. It's gonna be Castle Wolfenstein. Well, let's pivot to a little more positive subject. I've been playing a game that I'm
What
really
is it?
loving. I
Tell
am
me.
really excited to talk about this game. It is a weird one. It came out of it didn't come out of nowhere, but I wasn't expecting to enjoy it this much. I want to talk about Dave the Diver. I've been playing Dave the Diver because it released on PlayStation Plus, so it is a download at no additional cost to PlayStation users. This is the game that came out on PC and Switch not that long ago. A lot of people were talking about it. I had to find this game. It's a game about a chubby deep sea diver who
Big
spends his days, named Dave. He spends his days deep sea diving in a place called the Big Blue Hole, and he's collecting fish. You swim in a side-scrolling-esque pixel art sea. It's really fun and colorful and beautiful, and you're harpooning fish or you're slashing at them with your machete. Really simple controls. You're watching your oxygen meter. If you get attacked by aggressive fish, your oxygen goes down. And there's little pick-me-up power-ups on the sea floor. You can open up little chests that'll have oxygen tanks so you can refill your so-and-so, your quote-unquote health. You can pick up extra weapons. Maybe you have like enhanced harpoons that have electricity or poison on them. Or you can pick up fun melee weapons like a machete or a toy hammer that squeaks when you hit the fish. It goes, really super cute and fun. And you spend your days diving, looking for treasure, and picking up fish, all in service for your night gig, which is helping your friend Boncho run his sushi restaurant.
Nice.
And the game is divided into those two halves. You've got your deep sea sim where I believe it's randomly generated every time you dive. It's like a different
Really?
layout
Okay,
of the
good.
ocean floor.
Weird.
Not radically different, but like there's different paths every time you go down. And there's different fish, different hazards down there. Sometimes there's like fast currents that you have to navigate through. They'll like blow you into spiky walls or things like that. Really, really cute side-scrolling stuff. But then, after you dive during the day, you go to the restaurant and you're a server. So you've got Boncho. He's cooking up the food, and then you've got patrons coming to the restaurant, and it's like the old arcade game Tapper. You remember Tapper? Where you'd have
Are you
to
talking
like,
about the beer thing? And
yeah,
then
you'd have
throw
to
it
fill
down?
up the cup and throw it to the people. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like that, where they come up to the restaurant, to the bar. They sit at the bar, and then they get this little bubble above their head of what they want. Sometimes they want you to pour them some green tea. Sometimes they want a certain sushi dish, and you have to run to the chef, and you have to grab the plate, and you have to run and serve the person, and you got to run back and forth and deliver the things that they want that are shown above their head. And then there's a timer ticking down of how long they're willing to wait. So you have to like navigate.
Wait. So you're just running back and forth for things. You don't get to cook the sushi or pour the beer.
You do. So when you're
yes,
so
I was
when you're
about to say I like cooking mini games.
So there's all sorts of mini games baked into the process of serving these people. So if they want the tea, you run up to them, and this window will pop up that shows their glass, and you have to tilt your right thumbstick down, and you'll start pouring it. and there's like a perfect pour that you're trying to hit each time.
Oh my god, yes.
So as it's filling up, and by the way, it uses the cool DualSense controller speaker where you can hear the pour, right? Yeah. And so you're trying to fill that up to the perfect level, and then there's as Bancho is cooking the sushi, he needs like a replenishment on what the heck do they call it? Like maso. It's like
the thing that they wrap
mashed
the sushi
seaweed
in.
or something.
Yeah.
There's like you have to go and fill that up, which is, you're moving the thumbstick up and down as you're mashing this stuff. And as you continue to dive and get new fish and new treasures and money, you bring it back to the restaurant and you get to do things like redesign the restaurant so you can put money into the bar or the decorations around the bar, the lights above the bar, speakers, accents, new stools. You get to hire.
It's awesome.
You get to hire other servers. So as the restaurant gets busier and busier, you take out wanted ads, and you can choose if you want it to be an internet ad or a print ad. There's so many systems in this game, but they're all really simple. They're all really simple, and they're all living on your phone. So Dave's got like a smartphone. You pull up in this phone and you can go into like the Indeed app and you see all your, all the people that are applying, and you get to choose which person you want to hire depending on what their skills are. Are they really fast? Are they really friendly? Are they really good at cleaning? You hire these people, and all of a sudden you've got this really rockin' sushi restaurant that you spent days and days kind of building up to the way that you want it to be. And so at night you're running this restaurant, and during the day you're going into the ocean. And if that's not enough, the game is throwing special quests. Maybe there's a scientist who wants to explore the mermaid village that's at the bottom of the sea, or there's a certain shark you gotta go attack, or there's these gung-ho environmentalists that you have to battle. There's sea pirates. It's impossible to get bored playing Dave the Diver, because every 2-3 times you pick up this game, it throws a completely new element at you. It's a restaurant sim. It's a side-scrolling exploration game. It's got RPG elements. It's got characters that you meet that help you in all these different aspects. There's like a big fat anime nerd who like builds your weapons for you, and he wants you to find him anime statues at the bottom of the ocean. There's a guy who drives the boat. His name is Cobra. He's got an eye patch and a Hawaiian shirt. He's like Magnum PI, and he helps you with special gear.
Question time.
Yeah.
With all of these systems,
Well,
I'm impressed that they keep, expanding and adding and have a lot of systems that play a lot of parts to the game. What would you say the weakest one is? Because when I watch it, to someone who just hears Dave the Diver, they're like, oh, that's the game where you go fishing, you go and dive down. But then like everything else kind of gets lost. So I think the more people hear about it, the word of mouth, it's explained more, because I had no idea there were this many systems. Which one would you say the weakest link in them? Do you have anything you're like, oh, I gotta go diving again? Like, is that the part that's not entertaining, or is it all entertaining?
I think the genius of it is that the game doesn't layer it all on. It's not a game where it's got all these systems and you have to think about them all the time. It does it in a way that it breaks up any potential monotony that you have while playing it. So it's got the two sides of the coin, where in the day you're in the ocean and at the night you're in the restaurant. But then it throws new things in while you're doing each of those. So, for example, you might go down to dive and you think you're just going to be diving. Okay, I got to get some new fish to add to the menu at the restaurant. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to spend my day just collecting new fish. But then once you get down there's a dolphin trapped in a net by the pirates, and you have to go do a mini game about freeing the dolphin. Or maybe you go down there and all of a sudden there's a giant squid who's blocking your path, and it's a boss battle with a giant squid. So, and each one of these things has a new gameplay mechanic in it, like a little mini game or something that you're doing that's new and fresh that you haven't been doing before, but you only do it for this one window, this one quest, and then it moves you on to something else. So when I say it's got a lot of systems, I don't mean that it stacks and stacks and stacks, and all of a sudden you're thinking of 10, 12 different things you got to worry about. It just introduces a new element to keep things interesting and fresh, and then it takes it off the table, and then it returns you to the core experience.
Talk to me about the music, because I'm almost sold.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with the music? Is it amazing? Please tell me it's amazing.
It's relaxing, digi chill music, I guess, is what I'd say.
That's my shit. Is it
it's
good?
island themed. So like you're gonna hear like ukuleles and like think like Hawaiian tropics, but it's also kind of like synthy pop.
I love this shit. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's good. It's
good.
good.
It's good, and the
Okay.
characters are really fun, and there's really cool cutscenes with a lot of character. It's a funny game. It's relaxing. It's enjoyable. It's colorful. It's charming. Never stressful. Always pleasing. Dave the Diver is a really surprising, and I think it's a perfect summer game. Like, man, if there is a game to crack the windows open, get a nice breeze, get a glass of lemonade, you chill out with your friends at the Big Blue Hole with Dave the Diver. It's a really hard game to talk about because there's a lot of different things at play. And I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I do, but boy, it's just a pure joy.
So it's $20. Have you heard about this Dave the Diver getting free Godzilla DLC? Have you heard of that? So it comes out in May 25th, I believe, and we're gonna have a free DLC pack. So the Kaiju monster is coming to Dave the Diver, which is pretty nuts. Like that's awesome. Are you excited for that?
I had heard about
May 23rd.
I had heard about this before ever playing the game, and I was like, do I know what this game is? Because how would that work? But after battling the giant squid, I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. So yeah, I'm down. More free DLC, more random boss battles. I will more than happily fight Godzilla at the bottom of the ocean.
And it goes on sale here and there, and there's, I think that it's an incredible value for what you're talking about. I hear great things, and I'm pretty much sold, I think. Yep.
It is a great time. It's a good, and I think it's on Switch. It seems like kind of a perfect Switch game. Honestly, I'm playing on PS5, but I think this is a perfect, and you could probably play it on your Steam Deck. I think this would be a great game for your Steam Deck because it's got the formula where it's kind of got like the Animal Crossing thing where it's like, this is how I'm going to spend my day. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to play a day. And I know what like the hook of it is. I got my 2 dives in the morning and then I'll go to the restaurant. So you could pick it up and play a couple days here and there. But there's so much variety and so many unexpected additions and new gameplay hooks that they throw in there that I think this is a perfect summer game for people. And that sound means we've come to the end of the show. It's the caboose. It's the caboose where we're going to give you a recommendation of something outside of the world of video games that we think you might enjoy. Antonio, what's in your caboose?
So I need to recommend that people kind of do something for good. Okay, so if you look up something called Justice for Mika, there's basically I'm into true crime and stuff. Like I'll watch it here and there. Like I'll watch Dateline, stuff like that. So if you go to like YouTube, a lot of people discuss like cases like missing persons or like murders. So there's been a very, very salacious story that's just it's very sad. This woman was killed, and her name is Mika Miller, M-I-C-A. So Mika Miller was killed, and her husband's like a real douche. So what we're trying to do is if you can make a social, well, first look into it, and without a doubt internally you're going to be upset. You're going to see that this poor woman lost her life to what is pretty much an abusive like husband, and we're trying to get the FBI to like look into it. So rumor is that they are opening a case because the local police shut it down, and they're just like, end of story, but you have to look into it yourself. Once you do, and you watch any like YouTube short or anything on social, you're going to get the details, you're going to be upset, and you're going to hope that there is justice for this woman. So look it up. It's, it's upsetting. it's pretty clear that some justice is needed here, and sometimes local police departments, they may not get the job done and they may like rush to close something, and that was obviously the case here. So look into it. It's if you're into like true crime, if you like to do something for good, just if you make if we do an uproar, then people are going to be paying attention instead of just kind of like letting it go. This guy, the husband, like quickly rushed to cremate his wife, hiding like evidence type stuff like that. Try to frame it like she had like killed herself, and there's just mounds of evidence that show quite like there may be AI used in this case where he tried to cover it up by saying like having her voice call in and say like,
oh my god,
oh, I'm gonna off myself or whatever. So look into it if you can, if you're into that sort of thing. Go ahead, Adam. What's your end of recommendation? Let's find justice for this woman. If you're gonna say
it's a really tough one to follow. I'm going to recommend, I've been doing something for the last month, and I got my son involved. We are learning Japanese through Duolingo. And I know we've talked about this a long time ago on the podcast.
Say something.
Say something? Yeah. Watashi no sore wa mizu desu.
How fucking dare you?
So anyway, I've been learning this. It's a slow journey, but honestly, my dream is that next summer I'm taking the family to Japan, and that's a tall order, and that's a really hard thing to do. But I've told myself I'm going to continue down this path, believing that I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
And so part of that is I wanted to learn as much of the language as possible. So Duolingo is a free app that you can have on your phone. There's also a pay version with no ads and stuff like that. But I've just been doing the free version. And my son wanted to do it. So we've been doing this together. And it gamifies the whole experience of learning Japanese. They give you like a health bar. And so if you get questions wrong, or if you get transcriptions wrong, your health will go down so much, and you only have so much health per day. And then you level up, and you get to create a fun little avatar, things like that. And you can use it obviously for more languages than Japanese, but my dream, like I said, is to take the family to Japan. I went, another lifetime ago, like 20 years ago, I went to Tokyo, and it was the best travel experience of my entire life. And I want to have that again with my family before I get too damn old to really appreciate it. So we're going down the path. We're learning some Japanese. It is a fun, free, and easy way to kind of get your lessons in. So I'm having a good time with it. I recommend people, if they're interested in learning a second language, Duolingo is a lot of fun.
Yoteyaku ne ya no kanemasu.
You're welcome. I don't know what you just said. What'd you say?
You have done well. I wish you luck.
Oh.
Google Translate.
Google Translate. Google Translate.
It's too easy. It's too easy.
I watch a lot of videos of people like going to Japan, and they're like, yeah, I just had this great conversation. I just used Google Translate. I'm like, cheater.
It's not the same.
Cheater.
They're just going to implant it into your ear and your brain, and it's going to be a babble fish.
Shortcuts. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Megadads Live. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching right here on youtube.com/Megadads. Make sure that you like the video or subscribe to the channel. Check us out on Threads at Megadads. Sorry. And we're also on Discord. Really quick before we go, I want to tell people that a brand new season of Spotlight is going to start on May 25th. We're going to have a live watch along of the first episode, my conversation with the Nintendo dads. Very excited about that. And we're going to have this series go out throughout the summer of me having conversations with some of my favorite creators that I've met along the 10-year journey of Mega Dads. 10 years, dude.
10
years.
10.
Here's to 10 more. And we'll see you guys next week on an all-new episode of Mega Dads Live.